What up, what up? How we doing? Papa Giorgio, what's up? I am an old man. I'm feeling like an old man. Get the intraday positions in here. Bum, bum, bum. Hopefully you guys are doing all right. Hopefully this stream is not causing us some problems as it has been lately. But we seem to have found a slight bottom. Look to be bouncing. Alexa, what is up, guys? Thank you so much for being here. We look like we are in the throes of a range day. Everybody panicking about a down move that effectively went to nowhere off the back of yesterday's rally. We are kind of finding ourselves in my oh so favorite little bit of a fly structure. So obviously we've still got some potential to really get things moving higher. I this morning put on a 7800 or 7805, 7820 call spread. That actually could still do some work. We'll have to see kind of how this all shakes out. What's up, Hellboy Dave? Cole, Zach. What up? Yeah, Zach, I was a little concerned for you that you were being so horny bear in the chat there, bud. But let me get this dog out of here. Go. Vamos. Ay, ay, ay. Fucking animals, man. What's up, Miggy, Boar? How we doing? How we doing? This is something... What's up, Matthew? Something that I kind of... I don't know. It's been so long. I've had such a shit real job day. I haven't been able to look at this as much as I really wanted to. Trying to troubleshoot some stuff, which has been really frustrating. Yeah, this is what we're dealing with here. Playing some tight stops, trailing them well. First, my funded future account, I get close to the buffer. Very nice. Another W this morning with Rake. Honestly, I didn't get to stick around on his stream long enough to see any trades that he took. I know he was in a long when I was on there and got this kind of initial little pop. I'm not sure what happened after that. But if you got a W there, congrats. Full-time job, I am an admin for an application for a healthcare organization. And that is my gig, man. That's what I do. So yeah, I actually took a hilarious position just for shits. It was unbelievably cheap and probably really kind of a funny one, but I took a 45 centered fly. So this the arrows I'm pointing at here, I basically took like the cheapest trade, and I don't think it has much chance of winning, but basically if we finish in between here and here, I get paid. So the closer we are to 74.45, I can make $500 on 25 cents of risk. So $25 times 10 to make $500 a piece. If we finish a 74.45 SPX at the end of the day, which I'm not anticipating being true, but it was just kind of a fun trade to put on for literally no money at all. Kind of went on tilt, deep in the red to small red to end the day. Lack of sleep had you messing around finding out. Honestly, dude, I felt bad yesterday. I was so tired on stream. I was so tired yesterday. I legitimately was supposed to do a one-on-one with somebody and had to cancel because I legitimately did not feel like my brain was functioning in the afternoon. Went to my kid's soccer practice, got back, put my daughter to bed, and I was reading her a book. And this morning she told me I didn't even finish the book. I fell asleep before the 5-year-old. So like, yeah, dude, if you're not well rested, you can get away with it for a while, but especially if you're like making decisions and you're trying to manage your emotions, I'm sure days like today can like fuck some people up, especially considering we just came off the back of a huge move and everybody was probably like, oh, this time it's different. It's just going to keep ramping. I mean, I definitely saw the path to the upside. That's how I was positioned originally. But thankfully, I kind of took some profits and got out and then just decided, hey, I've got all this work shit going on. I'm going to get out of the way and not really play anything. I did take a little call spread as we were kind of chopping around down here that I held, thinking maybe we can kind of get back into this type of move, like into this little balance up here. But I think right now it would be easy to just assume that we're going to kind of range a little bit. The kind of the extreme thing to happen would be if we just have 0 people buying and we like maybe come down to settle in here. I tend to think we're going to kind of do this bit of a rangy situation. Like I really feel like we're just going to kind of, there's just too much of this like fly structure, guys, that I kind of called out this morning in the pre-market plan, kind of littered across the map here, where it kind of keeps pointing at these like local balances, right? And the intraday is kind of doing the same thing. You can just kind of see where if you kind of cover an area, why are these arrows? Can somebody tell me why these are going like behind the... There we go. Yeah, I was like, why are these arrows showing behind the bars? God damn it, not the buffering. Is it buffering? Is it dropping for you guys? Because I don't know what the hell happened the other day. Like I've got a fiber internet connection. My internet speed is literally running so fast right now. So if it's giving you guys problems again, like I don't know what I've got to do to OBS or what I got to kill on my device here, but to me everything looks good to me. Oh, okay. Yeah, Ron, I guess, I mean, like, honestly, I don't know. Like, that threw me off. I was like, I was killing Bookmap. I really don't have that much shit running on my computer. So, like, I don't know what it would be from my side, to be honest. I would actually probably go with OBS at this point, because if nothing else has changed and OBS is the only thing, that's about all I could think of, honestly. I don't like have a whole lot of shit running on the computer either, so it's kind of like, yeah, I don't know. I'm not gonna worry about it for now. What's up, Lou, Jonas? What can I say? Sorry, I want to catch up here in the chat. What can I say about Gamma here? Imagine if you had currency, right? You had a $1 bill, but you only got to spend a portion of that dollar bill relative to where you were holding it in front of your face. The higher up you go, that dollar bill is worth more. The lower you hold the dollar bill, the less it's worth, right? If that was a representation of what that piece of paper meant, that's delta, okay? Gamma is basically how much value you get for that dollar as price goes up or down, okay? So Stream health shows healthy. Stream health is excellent. But I see viewers are dropping like flies. What the fuck is going on? Frozen? I'm frozen again? So, okay. Sorry, guys. Yeah, that's going to throw... I'm not going to look at viewer count and any of that. I'm just going to talk and assume that everybody's still here. But essentially, if Gamma is just saying how quickly that dollar is either worth something or not worth something, right? how much more or less of something there is an influence of like the positioning. So if we are broadly negative gamma, it means that there are more dealers short in this whole range than there are dealers long. And when dealers are short, they are reacting to the change in delta. So if we are short gamma and they are short these positions, and then they are short vega, right? It means they need to bid because the volatility is changing with the value of the delta. So if they bid up like yesterday, this huge mechanical rally, right? No dips, right? If we were looking at like a 5-minute chart instead, okay? Almost like no dips to speak of at all. It was just buy, 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 buy. The reason for that and why that was a very mechanical rally that just kept on going is because as we were moving into a very short gamma range, Vanna, which is that implied volatility reaction, right, meant that as market makers delta changed in all of those positions, they were overwhelmingly short. As the volatility expanded, which means they had to buy more futures, their book, their vega, actually changed. And in a negative Vanna environment, it's that mechanical, oh, you just bought a bunch of futures? The underline and all the delta of those contracts that you're holding, just in like, imagine if the more you have to buy something, you have to keep buying it. That's all that meant. That's all it means today. So the reason why volatility or VIX was showing itself going up as we were getting bid up, it was the same thing as yesterday. If you have to buy something to remain neutral, but the more of the thing you buy to try to remain neutral is telling you that volatility is expanding, and you've got this other thing over here saying that volatility's getting bid up. You've got to buy twice as many futures as you just did to make things neutral, right? It's going to just keep accelerating. The difference today is that when you're in that Vanna environment, you can still sell, but what happens is volatility is not actually reacting the same way. So volatility, the more we actually pull back, the less vol there's going to be, the more VIX should actually come down. And it's not just a 0-date phenomenon, right? You have to think about all of these option structures that people are holding well into the future that have had to change all of a sudden, right? We had yen intervention, which is a big thing to the US equity market. You've got yields changing in the bond market and treasuries, right? You have earnings season. You've got this AI narrative out there. You've got oil potentially coming down if we strike a deal with Iran and things start shifting there a little bit. There's all of these things changing that people had risk on for, and volatility was really cheap, right? So vol kept getting bid up, and then the more those positions change, the more vol can drop. So what's actually been happening is things just kind of keep steeping. The near term, the risk has been reduced, but people are still holding their risk into the future. So things can steepen. But really volatility across the whole option surface, right, is not just an up or down, negative or positive thing, right? Volatility is how much something is, or implied vol is how much something is either going to finish in the money or out of the money by the time whenever that contract is held expires. So somebody holding calls 2 months from now, and we had this massive rally, right? And we just keep getting bid up hundreds and hundreds of points in the index. Magically, their out of the money calls just popped, right? They are now closer to being in the money. So as that IV spikes all across the board, not just this week, but the next week and the next week and the month ahead, all of those positions that were being held changed. And that influences the current market, right? Because people trade those positions today out into the future. So it's not just a 0-date phenomenon. That's why having access to this information means that if you are a swing trader, you can look at this surface and these positions and the gamma and the charm and all of these different Greek influences, right, into the future and have that inform your trading to that degree. But yeah, very much a mechanical rally. Today coming in, we're still pretty much in the same boat as what we are right now, or as what we were then, right? The little arrows I just drew from the intraday structure are still pretty much telling the exact same story they were this morning, right? Straddle was a little bit bigger, okay? We've already traded down below the morning straddle expected move. We're kind of hovering right over it now. But this was a balance from the pre-market. Okay, if I was going to swing something last night, this probably would have been the butterfly I'd have thought if we were going to give anything back, we'd come back to. Right? Because the pre-market structure was also showing you if you're not under something, you're over it, right? So if we're not breaking under this, everything from the pre-market was kind of telling you, okay, you're at least to here, and if you're holding over that, you're probably coming here. If you're holding over this, you're either holding here or maybe you squeeze all the way up to here, right? That was the pre-market structure. How much has that changed when we're only looking intraday, right? Has very much changed? No, we just kind of got pushed down. We're under this balance. We're trading in this range now. There's still risk down here, right? This is kind of pointing you to a place. But broadly speaking, unless you're much, much lower and we have some like real impetus to sell, there's this strong potential we just end up kind of drifting listlessly against one of these balances into the close. So if we just keep chopping and the straddle comes down little by little, we could certainly finish right where we are or higher. The downside though, the risk to the downside is more blunted, I would say, as you move down into this kind of 7,000 SPX. Maybe you get down into the 7,700 ES area, you know, that could be kind of a little resting spot. But, you know, you move much higher at all, there's actually an impetus to bid into the afternoon, just on the dynamics of everything we talked about earlier. So I don't know. I don't really have a strong lean one way or the other. I think you're just going to kind of get magnetized against one of these kind of key spots into the afternoon. It's just like, how much further down do we drift? Or do we just go sideways or maybe drift up a little higher? I really have a hard time thinking we just sell off. I don't know. I just don't feel it's coming. That's just me. How far in the future did you pull data? What date? You're gonna have to clarify for me what do you mean? Are you talking about like the longer tenured contracts and stuff, or what are you referencing? Stream is in a negative gamma environment. Whip sign frozen to live. If that's still happening, that's such a bummer, guys. That sucks. Because like nothing is a problem for me right now with my browser or anything else. So I don't know what that could be related to be perfectly frank. So if it is a problem, it blows. Fake news incoming. Agreement between... Yeah, but Zach, you're still... you must have missed the whole thing we just talked about with regards to VIX. Optionsfunding.co, slightly toasted is the name of it. Had some performance issues with it this morning, actually, but was able to get out without getting hurt, so that's good. Yeah, that VIX candle this morning is likely a result of some kind of a position getting rolled out or up, where they ended up having to like long vol in some capacity, or the vega of that position likely changed. I don't know. I don't know enough. I haven't had really much of a chance to look at it so far. But yeah. I think today is kind of a dangerous day too when you think about people that could be like selling premium or something. Just because of the nature of how things are moving and how the positions would move. So even me, like having a fly on for shits here is kind of one of those things where it's like it definitely comes with risk still. So the chop messed up my option contracts. Yeah, I mean, we're just kind of in a wacky environment, so you gotta know what you're doing and just kind of accept some of the risk that's going to be inherent out there. Mitch, Fantasy Premier League? I don't, man. I don't have that much time. I'll be honest with you. Between kids and school for them and work and their activities and all this stuff, it's just not a thing for me. The one thing I should mention, and make sure I do it here. you guys on stream yesterday. We gave away a 25K daily account from 10-4. I know Jake was talking about Funded Seat, I believe it is, a new prop firm partner that honestly that daily account looks really appealing, so I'll probably get one of those for myself. But 10-4, the prop firm, a newer prop on the block, moved me live. Hadn't taken any trades on that account yet today, but they are going to give away another account today. So I asked everybody to sign up for an account at 10-4, and if you did that and you left a comment on my Instagram post, you are going to be entered in this drawing for that account. So we are going to pull a name from that bucket of users, and we will give that account away live on stream today here in a little while. So if you did that, you will have been qualified for that account, and we'll see what we get. But yeah, today, again, just kind of a straightforward day to me. Coming in, it was very much a if-then kind of a day, building out, right? You had this kind of potential to kind of finish higher, maybe in the middle, and there wasn't as much that was compelling to me about going too much lower. That's why this little kind of hold post-London to me was kind of the reason why I put this little 5-wide fly on for fun. Because if we don't effectively go anywhere and I only cared about the morning structure, like from the pre-market, this is telling me like this is a really strong possibility to finish here. But if you do get some bidding into the afternoon, right, or maybe you get like a little news pop or something, then you could maybe see some kind of a lift, right? There was this shape from the pre-market that made this attractive to me in the morning. So as we opened up over this part of that structure and we were holding there and dips were holding, I was like, oh, you know, we might get that extension. I like that call spread idea. Maybe I can fly it off up here. But from a futures standpoint, today was just kind of, it wasn't as attractive to me because of this kind of, again, these positions were just kind of so many if-thens, and I didn't really love the risk to just take some future stabs unless it was more of a, just kind of a scalpy thing on bigger size. So that was me today. That's why I was a little more hands-off. And then obviously like work just sucks today. So I'm just a little more cautious by default. I have the potential to be a great teacher. Well, I don't need to quit my job for that, Josh. That's why I'm here. Doing it every day. And then people that want the extra time do the mentoring thing. So I am still teaching. I don't need to quit my job for that. I like my job. Today it just sucks because it's so busy and there's a problem. And I don't like certain problems, right? They're a little more difficult to get to the bottom of that problem. And it's very frustrating. So much troubleshooting. I hate writing in JavaScript, and it's just a bummer. Yeah, then you're too tired. Yeah, I mean, I get it. But I feel like today I'm well rested. I went to bed at like my kid's bedtime last night. So if I'm not rested off the back of that, I don't know what to tell you. But yeah, today is an easy day, I feel like. But from a trading standpoint, like even if you looked at today and coming in, any other time you rode a rally like that, any other day you catch 100 points in SPX or more, right? Or in ES, whatever. More often than not, you're going to look at the next day after a day like that as a consolidation day. Very rarely do you just kind of keep rocketing up. We had the potential for it, right? Don't get me wrong. I was kind of excited by the potential for that to happen because we are in this weird negative and gamma environment where we've got nothing but gas to the upside, right? We've got nothing but juice to squeeze through, right? And only some little balance spots. But the thing with that is you still have to have somebody with the impetus to get you there, right? Because if we consider the positions our map, right? That's why I even called my indicator position map, right? I called it that because this is telling me the story on the day with all those if-then scenarios. So we open today. What are my if-thens? As long as we hold this structure, but more importantly, this structure, I like the potential to go up here while also being aware of what happens if we do that very early in the day. There's still enough range for me to move from here to here. That would have been a 100-point move almost, right? If we open around 7,800 ES, and we could potentially get up towards 7,900 because the fuel is in the tank, so to speak, really easy to see that. But then you're also opening, you're opening in this range where if you don't hold right here, it's kind of pointing me to this place. And if I don't kind of chop around this spot, I would really have a lot that I'd have to work against, right, to go much lower. Because structurally speaking, this looks like mostly supportive. So if I don't sell under here aggressively into the afternoon, every time I go down, it's probably going to buffer me back up to this spot, right? I can see that. I can see that same shape. So key area on the day, key area on the day, key area on the day. And if I don't do this and hold up here early, the lower I go, the more likely I can kind of range because I know what's pointing me back there, right? So again, if I get rid of that pre-market map and I say, well, all right, what does the intraday map look like? It's still pretty much the same, right? Maybe a little less strong compared to earlier, but overall, it's still telling me the same story. If I'm over this area, I can drift up here. But at this point, we have to understand there are things working against us, right? We are running a race that finishes at this point in time. We are more than halfway done with the race. Got our open here. We got the London close right about here. So we ran the first third. We're in the middle third. What happens in the final third, right? And all these mountains we're trying to cover are pretty much telling you the story already. If you're not over this mountain peak, you're probably going to settle by this mountain. And if you're not under this mountain peak, right, you're probably going to settle somewhere in this range. But if you're under this one, you can go here. But if you really get sold, then maybe you can go here, right? But you're thinking of this as a map, and there's this whole time component you need to be cognizant of, right? Because the more time goes on, the stronger these influences are becoming. And then you add the other people in the market who say, man, I don't trust this top. I'm going to sell into the close. Or, wow, what a great dip buy after that huge rally. I think we're going to just, go ballistic. We're going to get some good news. So I'm going to buy this dip and try to get up here, whatever. But that's the benefit to having this map. If you didn't have this map, you don't really know what you're doing today, right? You were probably horny for shorts going, we're going to give the whole thing back. And then we don't go anywhere. And then you're holding the bag, right? All right. Out of curiosity, do you have an outlook for the rest of the week? Seems like this is just a rest day before going higher. I'd have to go look back at my kind of weekly plan to think about what the days look like at the start of the week relative to now. Which I don't really have at the moment. But if I looked at the positioning day by day from here, maybe I'll give you a better answer. So looking at the positioning from here to the end of the week, we've got 2 more days after today. The positioning is very thin and not really convincing anywhere in particular to the upside. I think we are kind of stuck in this negative gamma range, which is obviously kind of inherently risky. Until you see some kind of stronger positions build out, it's hard for me to really lean one way versus the other. I think we are kind of at risk still, right? It's a very tenuous thing that we're doing up here. We could easily drop back down below 7,700 on SPX. So below 7,700 on ES as well. We're getting closer and closer as far as that disparity goes. So positionally, I couldn't show you on the screen right now, but you know, it's just going to depend. I don't really have a great forecast because we are kind of in this goofy no man's land kind of a situation when you're at all-time highs, right? It's very much dependent on where people are placing their bets kind of on a day-to-day basis. And right now, because we are in this kind of goofy spot up, vol up regime, we can just keep going. And we tend to go until somebody kind of puts down their bet on the map to say, I don't think you're going to go much farther than this, right? And today, there really wasn't much of that over this kind of 7850 ES area. So what kind of a position like this do we get into tomorrow? You know, and I don't have a good view of that right now because there aren't really any positions. If I look at the grid for the rest of the week right now, there's literally nothing on the map. You know what I mean? Nobody's even like selling the upside unless they're selling like an extreme upside. Like somebody is playing a spread from like 8,000 to 7,950 on SPX, which is like way up here. So unless you think we're getting this kind of a move, I mean, that's the short leg. So that means that it would be like, you know, way the fuck up there. So anyway, yeah, so I don't really have anything for you for the next couple of days. We just got to let each day kind of settle out so we can see what the positions are and say, well, here's where most of the bets are being placed, right? So sorry, I can't really give you a better answer on that one. How would one use this type of info if we don't have your indicator? You don't need this indicator. This indicator is just to have it on the chart. But like before I started doing this on TradingView, there's a TradeStation question on here. When I trade options on TradeStation, I don't have this in TradeStation, right? I'm looking at the VS3D platform itself, or I'm looking at this and looking at the SPX number I'm near, and I'm executing on TradeStation. Like this isn't in TradeStation, and I still trade without it. So if you're going to use this information and trade with it, you know, more. What you should do is you should have access to this or a similar platform. So how do these transfer to NQ? They don't transfer directly to NQ. So what you would be looking at is like if we looked at our structure on the day. Okay, here we go. I was like, what the hell? Oh, what is happening? This is why it doesn't correlate nicely, right? Okay, so coming in on the day, NQ is just inherently more, let's do this. That's probably why. I was on cash session on one and extended on the other. Looking at the structure on the day, right? Largely the same story. If you're not kind of holding over this area, kind of the opening print is probably what you would say, right? You had a key strike there. And when we actually kind of rejected on ES, it was kind of this little balance spot, right? But the potential was there. So on NQ, what I would be doing when I trade NQ off of how ES or SPX is reacting to the structure is basically, all right, if I was short here, I'm probably shorting a loss of this strike, and I'm targeting this balance with the potential to sell from this one down to this balance, right? Like this structure where things get dicey. And I'm looking at like, generally speaking, how many points does NQ trade when, like if we go top wick to bottom wick right here in the first few minutes, right? That is 20, 25 points on ES, which is what is that? 180 points on NQ. So when I trade NQ, I'm looking to trade NQ because I know that if I get this X amount of point move on ES, it's going to be way outsized on NQ. But if you look at the structure that ES respected today and where it paused, right? When it paused, NQ kind of had the same shape, right? It wasn't 1-to-1, but overall, these key areas and like where we're currently kind of chopping and ranging in a 10-point range on ES, you are kind of in a 70-point range on NQ. So if you can use that correlation and say, I don't think we're going to break above 77.80 on ES or 77.75 on ES. Every time ES rejects there, if I take a short on NQ, right, the numbers change slightly. You've got to give yourself a little bit more of room, but the structure of what we're trading in over here influences NQ, right? Because the index itself, the thing that all of the stocks that are represented in those indexes, which the futures are trading against, right, is is going to be more weighted in SPX because or more influential in SPX as an index, because everything in NDX that heavily moves that, the biggest concentrations of what are represented in NDX are already in SPX, right? So when the futures are trading against those two instruments, what this one is doing is largely more influential than what this one is doing, right? Very rarely does this do something on its own that leads to it happening over here. It's already happening over here. NVIDIA and all these things are already over here, right? So that's my sales pitch for using this structure to trade NQ as opposed to looking at like naive GEX on QQQ options as trading GEX on NQ for futures. I don't think that's a smart thing to do by any means. I highly doubt that, Randy. Highly, 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 highly doubt that. QQQ is an ETF. The index is where the hedging response comes from. So if you think that NQ moved off QQQ, I cannot get on board with that one. The index and the hedging of the options against the index, where futures become the underlying, is the whole basis of this kind of hedging dynamic methodology. But QQQ is not going to move the same way. No one's hedging QQQ options against NQ futures because it's not. It makes zero sense to do so, right? If you're trading QQQ, maybe it's against like an individual name in the index, like an NVIDIA or something. People will do that, but I can't get on board with that one. And if you provide me a more compelling case, then I'm all ears. All right. So we are going to do this giveaway for the 10-4 account. So give me one moment so I can pull up my Instagram and make sure that the names in that 10-4 list correlate with what's on my account here. I see a decent amount of responses. I got some gamma up in there. Don't be calling me Gamma God. I can't be seeing that. I'm not a Gamma God. I'm just a guy who reads these positions and is aware of the Greeks. But I appreciate the sentiment, but you guys can't be calling me that. All right. This is a fun one because I can't believe it's who it is. And if he's not on the stream, it's going to be even funnier. Gael Maldonado Perez, the infamous Gmald from the Discord chat, the thorn in my side, the millennial. I guess he's probably Gen Z technically. Congratulations, my dude. You are the proud winner of a buy one, get one free with 10-4, the prop firm, on an Origin account. Gmald. Congratulations, my guy. Good luck to you on your 10-4 journey. Hopefully you do well enough and secure enough payouts to get moved live. Join the crew live at 10-4. That is the purpose of the giveaway, guys, is I got moved live with 10-4. And this was kind of out of thanks for them. to share and spread the love a little bit. So congratulations to Gmald. Thanks to everybody who signed up for an account there and liked that post and left a comment. Obviously, this was kind of a naked drawing here, so I appreciate you guys doing that and participating, and I trust that you guys will have a good experience with them at 10-4. They're a newer firm. Like the guys over there, like their dedication to building that platform out and being a favorable place for traders to go. Obviously, we have our other great partners with some great sales going on right now. I'm aware Jake was kind of talking about funded seat and their new daily payout structure with an end-of-day drawdown as opposed to an intraday trailing drawdown on a daily account. It's kind of wild. Something I think you would probably want to take advantage of, but I actually was trading the daily accounts on 10-4 myself, and securing those payouts on that live account or on the daily accounts is actually what got me moved to live. So shout out wherever you guys want to put your hard-earned money into a prop account. Please use code RT or RAKE where you do to get the best possible discount and to continue supporting everything that we do here in the channel. Yeah, so that is kind of my little read for the afternoon on supporting our great partners. But congrats to Gmald, and thank you so much to 10-4 for doing that. You guys are great, and happy to be live with you. So you sound very clear on 2x. Was my volume too low, guys? Are you saying you had to double up my volume to hear me? If so, I'll get closer to the mic next time. But as you can see, we are kind of listlessly chopping sideways. There is a potential to go down. Oh, he's saying I talk slow. Well, I guess that's better than most days. I think most of the time I probably speak too quickly. So if you guys are here and I'm speaking too fast, my apologies. I just don't have a great read on this, guys. It's just such a meh profile. It's hard for me to endorse a sell-off. It's hard for me to think we actually go anywhere higher. We got about a 20-point straddle right now, which is like this. So if we look at that kind of this blue line, this is telling you what's being priced into the range currently. So what that's telling you is anything inside of this kind of width, those particular positions from market makers are the ones that are actually kind of shoving us around right now. So whatever is being priced into that range is kind of the most influential thing happening right now, which is also why it can get a little interesting if we do get a pop through this range higher. There is that kind of feedback loop that's still possible there, right? Where if we get a bid and we move through these positions that are going to reinforce that momentum, market makers are very quickly going to be buying with us when that happens. So it's a very kind of interesting time at the moment. I think what makes it difficult to you guys is when you have to be aware of all of these things that are going on in the background, all these mechanical kind of implications for where price moves and all that stuff. It can make it really hard, right? Because if you're a technical person, a bunch of your patterns are either getting confirmed or invalidated depending on what time frame you're looking at. Some of your volume profile levels maybe aren't as fleshed out because we are at all-time highs, right? There are things that you would normally rely on as a crutch that you can't really make sense of or pick a side of. And even with me, with these positions today, reading this from the pre-market and even now, when I'm sitting here and what I'm saying constantly is that like, there's all these if-thens. I can't really get on board with any of them. I put the tiniest risk trade on you could possibly put on. If I finish inside of 7750 SPX, 7740 SPX, and we finish on this big green bar, which we are kind of chopping to do, I literally paid $25 a contract for that position. Right now it's sitting at about like $70 a contract. So I'm up, but not like a lot. And it's just going to oscillate, right? And I only really get paid the closer we stick to this 45 strike on SPX. So if we don't kind of stick here and we start drifting outside of it, that position is basically worthless. And it was so cheap. it was good enough to take on just in case we do absolutely nothing but finish against that. The problem is that position doesn't really get profitable for me unless this straddle comes down. So it's pricing in too big of a range for me to really make any money on that position the way that I would want to, right? But technically I'm up on it. So it is what it is. But I just don't really see anything advantageous to me in this profile to say I can go long from here. And if we short, where are we really going to go? How aggressive is the shorting going to be, right? Because there's not anything really below down here where I would assume things are going to start firming up pretty strongly, just on the gamma front alone, right? Like, I just don't know. So even for me, a guy that likes to have a plan every day, today was just kind of a meh day. If we got that rally early, I had a trade on to be a part of it. If we failed, I didn't really know how far down we could go because of this exact same thing. Not to belabor the point, but if you guys want to see with that pre-market plan, like, if you're not under this strike, I don't really care about downside. It's not attractive to me. Could we go there? Sure. But if we're not holding under that, you can just kind of see it wants to find a balance here. And the fact that that's being reaffirmed by the intraday positioning to a large extent just kind of tells me either put this trade on, that little one that I did, or don't touch anything. Because you try to chase a short, what are you doing if it doesn't work? You shorted the whole. You look like a fucking idiot, right? And if you longed from here and it gets rejected and you just chop and go nowhere, or it sells and goes nowhere and just chops around, you look like an idiot. And this is not a day where the structure is such that it tells me I have a high conviction trade from where we are right now. So if something happens without me the rest of the day, fine, dude. Like, who cares? You almost always have digestion days in here somewhere after you get that and that and that, right? If you just drew a box and you're a TA person, we ranged and consolidated for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days, and now we've got a 2-day breakout. That was 3 times the range of that whole week. So what's more than likely going to happen? You consolidate, and then if it rips, it'll probably rip overnight or tomorrow if it's going to, right? So just take a pause day. It's okay. And if we're chopping around doing nothing, there's nothing really attractive to take right here. If I was a scalper, I'd probably be going nuts right now, right? Because you're just in this range. Short the pops, long the bottom if it gets there. But for me, this isn't attractive to me. Even with the intraday. Yeah, I trade options. Options are I'm not going to lie. Like, I trade futures, but options are my bread and butter. You know why? Because I can get paid tomorrow, literally every day. As soon as those options settle, in my bank account. I don't have anybody's rules. It's my money. I'm putting my money in there. I'm taking my money out. And with props, obviously that's a different value proposition, and I trade them. But there's a reason if I get moved live with 10-4 and I trade with 10-4 and I satisfy what I need to there, the whole point of moving live is so that I can get paid whenever I want. I don't have to deal with rules. That's the goal of prop firm trading. You can say the goal of prop firm trading is to milk them, right? Trade their money and not yours. So you're getting into it at a cheap rate. But if you prove it and you're profitable, you're satisfying the goal, which is to still trade someone else's money, but then you get paid every day if you want, right? So think about what you're doing. But yeah, for me, trading options is just the way to go. Like, as my bread and butter, I will trade futures. I absolutely will. It's a huge, huge benefit. But trading options to me is how I started. It's what got me where I am. Props are a less serious game to me, but if I get moved live, I'm going to take it seriously. You know, I'm going to treat it like my cash account. So yes, I do. Great enunciation. Thanks, Frankie. There's been some people on here telling me that I need to do ASMR videos and stuff, but I don't I don't know what I would read or what I would say. How do I pick my strikes? All right. So, Gonna get a little options primer here. I'm gonna go back to the pre-market because it's less offensive to look at. Okay, so on the day in the pre-market plan, a couple things. Because of where we opened, the trade that I put on was a call spread, right? Basically saying, I think this is a key resistance up here. I think we go to it. I don't necessarily believe we go on the other side of it, okay? So if that's the case, I'm going to make money two different ways on that options contract based on these strikes. I make the most money if price moves from right here into this box. Anywhere in this box, profit, 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 right? And because I took it when we were here, when price was down here, even this little move made that trade very profitable. Do you know why? Because we got closer directionally to this contract, this contract, this contract that was in that range for me, right? Every contract in this range appreciated in value because the direction started going there. So without me ever actually getting price into this box, I made money on that structure. But if we had gotten to it, the most money I'm going to make is if we stay in here and price goes on the other side of it. My profit is limited to how many points I paid for, right? So when I pick strikes on a day, I generally look at if I cover, if I break over this, I can at least go to here before price slows down. So if I take a call, it's going to be here, 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 right? But depending on which one I pick and how many of them I pick, it's a result of like, what trade am I actually trading for? Am I trading on the expectation we fill through that whole range, right? That's a different proposition than I think we get to this area, but we don't necessarily fill the range. I will take more of these ones up here out of the money that are cheaper. And as we get that direction, I'm trimming quickly and I'm holding a runner for a home run, right? But if I take something like this particular strike, I'm holding that one more because if it gets in the money, then I'm making most of my money on that trade for what happens after, right? Out of the money contracts, you are making money on the IV changing, right? The odds of it finishing in the money are increasing as you move up, but if it pulls back, they're going to lose value just as quickly, right? So what I will look at, and you guys will see this on my pre-market plans, this will be like a range on the day, right? This is where things should be kind of supportive. This is where things should slow down. And then I've got a couple key checkpoints in the middle, right? So if I've got that kind of key checkpoint here, I know that, well, as long as I'm over this, I can target here. And if I'm holding over this and I clear that, then as long as I clear this one, I can still target up here. So what options am I going to take relative to price through here, right? Do I pay a little more and take less contracts to try to ride this whole range? Or do I take something out of the money and just try to get some direction and then hold anything that does get to the money as a runner, right? That's how I structure it. And same thing for the downside, right? Except this morning, the downside range was less attractive to me. Unless we rejected here, back to here, and then any runners would be this kind of, this little range to here, right? Because I assumed if we did sell off down to here, the shape is pointing me back to this chop zone anyway. So the trade I'm in right now, again, is off of this shape. If I think we get down here, but I don't think we go any lower than this, I know that this is going to reject me and point me back down here. I should take a trade that gets me paid on time, which is selling this strike, owning this one, and owning this one. Because as long as we chop around and do this into the close, all that time is just increasing my value, and I get paid for being in that range, right? So it's a different value proposition. But there's a lot of strategy in trading options off of what is inherently options positioning information. If you know where other people are trading their options and how they have to trade them based on what they're holding, you have an edge, right? Most people think, oh, it's overall negative gamma, so if it's negative, there's not as much edge in that. If you know exactly what these options represent and how they change their value, and who's holding them in big numbers and how they have to trade them, that's where the edge in this really is. And obviously the future standpoint is saying, well, because there is no underlying for someone to own if they're trading SPX options, they have to trade ES futures as the pseudo underlying, and that's going to reinforce where price moves. The edge in trading futures is, where are you most likely to go from here to here? Like, that's what we talk about on stream literally every day, more than we ever talk about options. And it's for the reason that most people in this space are probably either newer to trading, or if they're here online, they tend to be trading futures because it's less to think about, lower barrier to entry, right? So we'll just cover the futures part of it. But for the people that take my mentorship and stuff, like, we get into option strategies because of these things, right? You don't have to just trade direction when you're trading options. You can trade time and what you know about how time impacts options to take different trading strategies, right? So convexity cannot be done. Yeah, you just can't trade those types of things on futures, right? I can't take a $25 risk on a 5-wide butterfly on futures and turn it into $500 just because time passes and we finish, on the number, right? Or a 10-wide fly, or a condor, or I take a call spread or a put spread, or I sell one and I just make money on someone else getting the direction wrong. Like yesterday, I sold a 76.30. I sold this spread. And as we moved up here, I literally could not make any more money once price went beyond 76.60. I could not make any more money from selling this position. Easiest money I made all day. And then I started buying call spreads to the upside, right? There are things that you can do with that you just cannot do with futures. Futures are just, you're owning this thing for a set value, and it's a video game, right? You're capturing points. But options have this convexity because of volatility in time that you will just never get with futures. Futures don't decay due to time. They don't have any relationship to volatility whatsoever. It's a fixed rate instrument. It is what it is. So what would be the best option trade if I think that without getting caught in the chop? What is the best? Well, dude, you're talking about NQ. I don't really have anything for you on that one. Maybe NQ. So you don't think NQ goes over 3,070? Oh, you're talking like this morning? I mean, any naked put, a put spread, anything to capture that initial direction would have worked. VIX is at 16. We shouldn't go lower than 77.50, right? What does VIX being at 16 have to do with it? Can I show the gamma? I don't have the platform up. But if you want like an approximation of it, I'll show you this, and it should. We'll see how much this works. I have like a really janky kind of a gamma gradient graph, but you see how everything from around 7,000 on up is red? There is your gamma. Do you think we should all know the Greeks and the relationships to trade futures with the levels? I think if you're going to use market maker positioning, or you're going to use gamma, you have to know what the positions represent, right? Because you can have a bunch of green bars on the screen, but look at the gradient. What environment are we in? If you were just looking at the bars and saying, oh, that's positive, it's going to go slow, but the whole backdrop is negative gamma, you are inherently making a bad decision, right? Green does not represent gamma on its own just because there's a green bar there. It's the totality of those positions, right? Overall, what they represent and the behaviors attributed to them. If you don't know the behaviors and how those things interact, you're making a very, very naive assumption that you know anything at all. But I cannot show it directly for NQ or QQQ, Dave, no. But this should tell you everything you need to know. So like if we look at NQ, And we know that the structure overall for us in this environment is basically saying, once you get to a certain point, you just kind of watch the strike on ES, right? And say, okay, if ES gets towards 77.20, that's like real danger zone. But we also are getting so much closer to the end of the day. That's not entirely true, right? Like we know that as time goes on, the floor actually firms up. And we know that like the lowest you're probably going to go is like 77, 75-ish maybe, you know. But again, if that changes and we sell aggressively down towards 7,700 or 77.20 on ES, and we do it like in the next 10 minutes, right? Then maybe you kind of go a little bit deeper. But right now, it's such that I don't think, you know, I do think 76.80 on ES is probably the single strongest spot on the board from here. But if you don't have active flow selling you down and making something change there, I personally just don't see it. Because really what's interesting is if we pop higher at all, like if we get over like 77, 75 on ES and you get any kind of a little bid over this 77.80 area, we likely go higher than we otherwise would, because of these other Greeks that are out there around volatility. So, yeah. Don't know anything about options, but I'm getting tired of getting stopped out sometimes, even if I knew the direction of the day. Well, I mean, if you're getting stopped out and you had the direction right on the day, why are you getting stopped out? Right? Like my assumption at that point is that you are probably just not getting great entries, or your risk is too tight or something, and options aren't necessarily going to help you with that, right? Options are going to fluctuate in value way more than futures are. So if you can't even handle a futures directional trade and managing the risk on that, because it's a pretty fixed instrument, I don't know that options are the thing that I would recommend to you, but there's all manner of figuring that out. Google is your friend if you want the best basic information. But I think for me, like, you know, if you want help with using this method to help you get into options trades, you can certainly reach out and we can work together one-on-one. But the internet is a free resource and there's many places to find it. So oversizing too close of a stop, well, then you got your answer, right? If your size too big, then you kind of inherently have to have a tighter stop because you only have so much available drawdown. But in options, you're risking what you can afford to trade, right? Unless you're like on a certain size margin account. But if you're trading a cash account on options, you know, you're trading the value of what you paid for that thing. So, you know, for me with SPX, I like to trade spreads because it inherently reduces my risk, right? I pay for the range I want to capture, and then I know that I can't make any more than X amount, right? Whereas if I was trading a naked SPX call, it technically can be worth infinite money, right? But to reduce my risk and the volatility of that option oscillating in value too aggressively, I take a spread just because, like, I'm okay, because if I have this information, right? Even right now, if I took a call spread and I said I'm going to buy a 75 or 77.50, which is this red bar, and I'm going to sell a 77.60, which is this one, I can make $1,000 once, you know, and then I'd have to subtract whatever I paid for it. But because of that, it's going to hold its value a little bit better because I'm selling the other end of it. I don't care if price goes through the other side because I can't make any more money. The most money I can make is whatever this range is. So some people look at that and they're like, yeah, but if it breaks out on the other side of 77.60 and you took a 77.50 call, you'd be so deep in the money, it would be worth X. But I didn't have to risk that contract going to nothing on one pullback if I took a spread, right? So like having those other strategies and not worrying about what price does beyond that range is no different than you taking one mini and saying, I'm trading for 10 points. If price goes beyond it, right, it obviously would have been worth more had you held. But if you don't want to worry about it, you put your TP there. So taking spreads is kind of the same idea. If you have an edge and you know where a range exists, and you size accordingly, and like you're reducing risk of how much it actually costs you to take, you can, like I said before this morning, you can make money off of the direction being right and price never even getting to where you needed it to go. So I actually, even though this pulled back and only stalled out right here, this position for me made money. Hundreds and hundreds of dollars, right? Across a few contracts. So there's so many different ways to skin the cat when you're trading, guys. But yeah, I think for me, oh shit, I'm way over time. Sorry, Christian, I will get off here. I would just tell you guys, as far as a plan for me for the rest of the day, like I just said, any little bid up over this 7750 SPX, kind of 7775, if you get a little bid, that can very quickly turn into something more. I think you're kind of at this balance. You're at this balance. If we get some selling pressure, obviously we could go lower. But I think there is a convexity to the upside because of the overall volatility environment we're in, where, as you guys can see, VIX is only kind of compressing and going lower as we move lower and go sideways. That is going to continue based on the current option structure in the market. So if somebody is like, oh, VIX is going lower, it means we're going to go higher, run away. That person doesn't know shit about fuck. So anyway, that's just what I would say. Sorry. Yeah, Christian, I got so much actual job stuff to do. This was a good reminder that I really need to go. So I appreciate you guys very much. It is a very unique time in the market. I would just tell you that, like, these spot up, vol up regimes typically happen at all-time highs. The way that this one happened and how much volatility has changed across the entirety of the market surface. If you're somebody who knows anything about fixed strike vols across every date, right? If you look at that, there's some really interesting things that I think there will be some reports coming out on that shows just how historic this move kind of was. And again, we talked about it yesterday. Moves like that, or things that we've seen where we cover hundreds and hundreds of points in a very short amount of time, typically have a mechanical reason behind it. And it's almost always down to volatility in these options positioning that exacerbate what might have otherwise happened. On another day, that move stalled at 50 points. But in the right environment, in the right situations, it can really, it's like throwing gas on a fire, right? It just keeps going. So today, again, the straddle right now, 20 points. So basically where these blue lines are on my screen. And I've got to find a way to not be drawing all the time. So my apologies for that. But the environment we're in, all of this red in the background you see means that if a bid comes in through some of these ranges, it is a feedback loop. It is going to make that happen even faster and more violently. You could easily see a huge pop all the way through this range to a way new high of day, literally out of the blue. But the problem is that has to be started by somebody. An active participant in the market has to show up. What's happening right now is we are just kind of being bounced around back and forth. And if you guys don't believe me about why this stuff matters, market maker positions are passive. They are trading whether there's somebody else in the market or not. If we accelerated this clock to the end of the day, if we went to 3 o'clock and nobody showed up in here, nobody pulled their wallet out and said, I want 100 of this, I want 500 of that. If nobody else showed up the rest of the day, these positions are basically telling you we are likely going to pin exactly where we are. Because if I'm not under this strike, it's compelling me to this balance. If I'm not over this one or this one, it is compelling me to this balance. Because market makers have to sell out their hedges. And the person that's holding this position right here, they are buying theirs back all day long. Okay? That's why you pin between negative and positive positions, generally speaking, at a positive one. So, all we're looking for is, what are the probabilities of something happening if somebody else shows up to make these market makers react a different way? And what we know is that the red positions accelerate momentum, the green ones tend to slow it. And if you look at the background, there's a hell of a lot more red positions than there are green, right? So if a big buyer shows up, we can certainly rip higher, especially with the whole volatility, Vanna-Vega relationship. But all right, enough for me. Now I'm rambling. So if you guys need anything from me, you know where to find me. Again, congrats to Gmald on that 10-4 giveaway. Make sure you guys check out Funded Seat, which is that new partner that Jake was talking about. They've got an interesting daily program. I'll shout out 10-4 one more time. Excited to be moving live with them. And I will update you guys on when I'm scheduling that next group class out. If you do want to learn more about the Greeks and all that fun stuff, we will go ahead and do that. And then, Tradeify 40% off. Make sure to check that one out as well. That is a sneaky deal. So, all right, that's enough. Bye. See you tomorrow.
Yo, yo, yo. All right, cool. All set here, chat. How's everyone doing? Getting situated here. Let's see. All right, closing this up now. Fire. All right, what's up, chat? How's everyone doing? Thank you for this. Yo, 2B, my guy, slightly toasted. What up? Doing good, brother. I closed out on my SPY contracts at literally slightly over 500% this morning. So I closed out on the SPY positions. Literally around this area for 500 and something percent. And on the QQQ calls that I'm still in, I still holding. Literally saw the QQQ position go from a little bit over 250% down to, I think at this current point, it's 70%, which again, the QQQ ones expire. So now 53%. QQQ positions expire on next Friday for the 7:30 calls. The SPY contracts, the reason I got out this morning was because they expire this Friday, and I was already up nicely, and essentially TP almost got hit this morning, right? The same level that I kept talking about time and time again, 30,094, is still the target that I'm still looking for that to go up and test, right? Whether today, tomorrow, maybe through Asia, maybe through London. That's the same level that I have been talking about literally for the last 3 weeks. Literally has been the level that I've been preaching time and time again. I positioned myself in options and kind of wanted to hold those QQQ calls because I do have time. And I was looking at the hourly on the 4-hour chart at the time of decision this morning. And I'm like, okay, if that is my target, right, which we kind of got there, but not yet. That is my target. A pullback on the higher time frame is kind of needed. On the 4-hour, on the hourly, a pullback is needed, right? We can't just go up straight forever. We have to pull back. And I kind of had that mental chatter with myself this morning. I'm like, okay, am I willing to hold through this pullback and give away unrealized profits, given that we're almost there? And the answer for me was yes. I locked in a good chunk of profits on my SPY positions, and on QQQs, I have more time, and I was under the idea, okay, the strike price is 730. If we break over 730, say we don't get there and we just range and I hold for tomorrow and we trail and we will open up higher over 730, the multiplier is going to start coming in, right? Given that we'd be in the money. So might regret this, but for now, literally just holding the chart. There's literally nothing that the chart is telling me to get rid of those positions. I covered profits. I literally essentially more than mitigated my risk. So I'm chilling right now in those positions. Now for my AM this morning, I took a long in, which was a little bit premature, I would say, just given where we were, but I took a long here. It was at the 1-minute invert, stop at the low, targeting that same level, which we never hit. I took it with the idea that we had rebalanced the 4-hour order block, right? Hourly, yeah, what I didn't like is that I didn't wait for that level, which was around the 890, which is an hourly fair value, which I think I should have waited for. But yeah, regardless, it was a 4-hour order block, 15-minute order block, and the same 5-minute fair value gap that we kept rejecting all morning. I thought that could be enough for us to trade higher after this 1-minute invert, and we kept rejecting that same 30,000 level throughout the duration of the trade until we didn't, and we stopped out. And I kept watching price just in case I would get a trade in that hourly gap entry, but we never got one. And around this level, I was like, all right, I'm all done. So that was that this morning. I went 0 for 1. And yeah, so I closed out on I basically took profits on my SPY options, took a loss on these for futures, and holding the QQQs. And as of now, literally looking to see if we get a continuation to the upside here. We're getting a pullback again to that 4-hour fair value gap. 4-hour fair value gap. The hourly has a swing low, right? We just took that out, of course. The 15-minute got a change in state, got an invert. We traded back down to discount of the range, the 5-minute order block. So we're now kind of hovering around this range. If we can hold this general area that we currently are holding, I am interested for longs after we invert this 5-minute bearish gap, targeting that 1-hour gap fill, small little 4-hour or 1-hour gap fill, which is right underneath premium of the range, swing high and premium, which would be that swing high, which again, for those that are new, high and low, premium discount, swing high and premium. So hourly gap fill there is kind of what I would be looking to target, so long we hold essentially this purple box, which is again is the 5-minute order block. That's kind of like the outlook I have coming into the session. Let's see. Yeah, as far as like profile goes though, I again got in. Yeah, I think my SPY position, I managed it perfectly, and even the QQQ calls, I think I should have covered some at the high when I did with this SPY, but I was genuinely, again, looking at the higher time frames. It's literally simply a pullback, right? Which I hope we stay as such, right? As a pullback in the intermediate time frames, and with the idea that we could take out the swing high, and if 730 gets hit and we trade higher, that multiplier is going to happen, because I was in, I did add more into my QQQs, and I was in slightly heavier than SPY. So if that were to happen, that's where I will get paid, right? So again, so far, simply just holding, or not holding, waiting for this bearish 5-minute gap to get inverted. And if that can happen for today's session, I would be looking for longs. Shorts, on the other hand, I probably wouldn't be looking for any, unless we just continue displacing lower, which we seem to have found some base here after the 15-minute bearish gap. Went invert after we took out a swing low. We pulled back to discount, OTE of the range inside a 5-minute order block. Now, if we get speed and displacement to the upside, again, I'd be interested in a scalp. And let's see, what else am I missing, chat? Yeah, on the 15-minute here, we're holding this bullish BPR on ES. Similar theme and story on ES, chat. ES has been the slightly stronger here. Relatively similar, I guess. But if you look at SPY and QQ, this is healthy, right? On the daily. If SPY can get this pullback and close how it's looking, and the next bar can look something like this, right? Kind of what I would want to see from price. But yeah, those contracts have a whole nother all of next week, so that should be fun. And yeah, we'll see. For all we know, we can hit all-time highs on QQQs. Not really betting on it, but want to see the reaction we get off that high, right? Yeah, intraday, literally just gonna wait. Literally, I have everything set. Literally, as soon as we invert this, I'd be looking for a long. So that's kind of the little game plan here, and we're getting divergence here at the lows, right? So let's see if we get that with speed, and if so, I would love to take it. Let's see. Let me catch up on chat now. What's up, KCG? Nicole, what's up, Nicole? How you doing? Great trade. My guy, fuck yeah, thank you, brother. What is the premium you paid for SPY calls? So I bought them for 400. I bought I believe 750 calls on Friday before the close. I bought them for, it was before the like 20 or so minutes before market close. 750 calls for about 400 bucks. And I sold each call for about, let me see, I'll tell you the exact number here. Where do I go on executions here? Let me see. Robinhood executions. How do I get there? Oh, okay, right here. Activity. So I sold each for essentially $26, $25.98 contracts. So I bought them for 400, sold them each at 2,600. So per contract alone, about 2,200. 2,200 per profit. For every 400 risked, it was 2,200 profit. Yeah, it was good profits. And then for QQQ on the other end, I have where is it at? Again, I'll once I fully get out of this whole idea, I'll post it on Instagram. But if it plays out, if QQQ gets another high essentially on the intermediate timeframes, yeah, which is what I'm hoping for, I should be looking at some nice profit. As it is, I'm already in the green on this position. Even if QQQ goes to zero, I'm already in green on the overall idea, right? Now it's in my relatively decent green or very green, right? That's kind of what I'm Alex brother, yeah. So Alex is on chat, is my cousin. I told him about this call on Friday. He got in and he sold this morning. When I got out of SPY, he got out of both SPY and QQQ, which I don't blame you, bro. I think that either decision was good, right? So I think you sent me your screenshot, right, on Robinhood. I think this was your, yeah. So this is a screenshot he sent me. His first options trade for the year. I literally told him to load up his Robinhood with chat. This was literally a couple $100. So this is a screenshot he sent me. Let me just show you guys. I told him before stream started to send me a screenshot, and I'm gonna click on that picture. Where you at? Where you at, brother? I don't know if you guys, I don't know if the camera catches it or not, but fuck. Yeah, hopefully it does. If not, then it's whatever. But he's up essentially 4,000 on that call. Literally, man, nice little work day for Alex. And that was literally what, risking $400? No, 600 bucks. So 4K off $600 in, yeah. So yeah, I don't blame you either, Alex. If yeah, I don't blame you for selling. Lomeli Gan tapped in. My guy Polar Bear, what's up, brother? Lomeli, love to break it out. What's your game plan this afternoon? What's up, my guy? Literally 1 SPY, 2 QQQ. Yeah, no, fuck yeah, Alex. Nice fucking shit. I mean, the game plan for today again is clearly bullish, right? I'm not really looking for any downside. We still have these relative equal highs that I still think we can get to, which is part of the reason why I'm still holding those QQs. we just tapped into a displacive fair value gap, which I think that we can trade out of, right? So what I'm anticipating, all this morning sell-off was a pullback on the higher time frames. And if this can hold and be the start of a trail higher, I want to, make sure I capitalize on it intraday. But also, if we get something like this for PM today, and through Asia we kind of slowly trail, London trail, and we just kind of continue higher and open higher, that's kind of what I would that's kind of the reason why I'm holding those QQQ calls, in case we get something like this. And it's kind of what I'm anticipating, to put it in short, right? So yeah, whether it's here that we get a reaction off, or we trade lower and then we get a reaction next week, I'm all for it. And as I do think that higher prices are in the future, maybe tomorrow, maybe next Wednesday, right? But yeah, in with the idea that we could trade higher. And for the session alone, we got a 15-minute invert, right? 15-minute invert, change in state as well. We pulled back into discount to the 5-minute essentially change in state that we're currently holding very nicely. We left behind this bearish 5-minute fair value gap, which if we invert, I'd be looking to take a stab long into the hourly gap fill. Small little hourly gap fill here, which is right underneath premium of the range, which is this 5-minute swing high. So long this holds, this idea holds true for PM, right? Ideally, I would want this to invert within, like, say, one minute candle, and if so, that would be great, a great entry for myself. So that's kind of the overall game plan that I have for PM here. Do we get it? Who knows, right? I'm just here kind of trying to catch a reversal trade intraday that's aligning with the intermediate timeframes. That on the daily, it's looking like we're getting more of a pause bar. So we'll see what we get, right? We'll see what we get. And yeah, clean displacive moves for the last 2 days. Today is Wednesday, so we still have 2 more days for the week. We'll see if those 2 days are more of a pullback or a continuation. My bet, or my guess, is that we continue higher. But that's not what I'm here to do. I'm just here to manage my risk and position myself in a way where I can capitalize on that conviction. And if it doesn't play out, then again, risk is managed like always, which is the reason why I got out of some SPY positions to offset the risk. Hi, Lomeli, rough day for me. Did you take anything? Yes, I took a trade AM session, which was talked about it briefly here, which was a 4-hour order block rebalance, a 50-minute order block rebalance in this range. It was a 5-minute order block, or sorry, fair value gap, and a 1-minute. So I took a loss this morning, just one, and a 1-minute invert was an entry. Stop there, target there, ended up getting stopped out. And in hindsight, I think I should have waited for the low to get taken, which was an hourly fair value gap, to look for an entry, right? Had I done so, I would have been cash for the session, which is I think should have been the right move. I took this trade here and I stayed on up until about 8:15ish or so, and I just stepped out. I went on about a mile walk. My brother again was in here with me this morning trading, and we both went on a walk. We came back, we had some food, and literally right before stream started, he ended up going home. So yeah, took that this morning, and again, still looking for longs, still very, very bullish. So very, very bullish, chat. Now we'll see if we get some sort of did your brother take the same trade? Man, I wish he was here. He literally left right before stream. Kind of wanted to introduce him to you guys. But No, he ended up taking, he trades, it's funny because he trades very, fuck, I wish he was here. He trades very much like Jake does. When I first got him into trading, I said, look, this is all I know, and you do with it as you please, because I think that's the right way to kind of put somebody on, which is they have to kind of do the work to understand what they're looking at, right? And with him, he really resonated with Jake's level to level, bar by bar, and keeping it very, very, very simple and straightforward, right? And he doesn't look at the 1 minute, 2 minute. He looks mainly at the 5 minute, 15 minute to make his intraday decisions, which me and him were talking about this. He trades very, you guys think I trade very little? I take maybe 1 to 2 takes a session. He takes about 3 to 5 takes a week, right? Which is on average kind of what he's not that far off from how actively I trade, right? But we were talking about it earlier, not today, but earlier in the like last week or so, where for him, July for him was break even, but he traded very minimal and he was looking at it as a bad thing. And I kept kind of telling him, I'm like, the fact that you stayed alive and you didn't blow up and you didn't do anything stupid says more about your development as a trader than taking more trades and forcing more trades and ending up being red just to force it, right? So in his mind, he was thinking, do I change something to increase my volume this month for August? And my answer was no. Why would you switch something that kept you alive in what I consider being a slightly difficult month, right? So yeah, so long story short, he didn't take the same trade. He took a 5 minute, which he ended up closing for break even. He took a 5 minute. He looks at a lot of failures. So he took this bar. He took that bar's break over the high. That bar's break over the high because I think we had gotten a failure to go lower here on this bar. I think we had a level there. Yeah, we got a failure under the 50-minute bar. That closure was bullish. And he took this candle. That was his trade. And I think he said he closed. So after his entry level, it rejected. He closed somewhere around here. Let me see. Basically, I think he said he was down a little bit less than half R. So he must have closed somewhere around here, and he called it a day. But yeah, that's how he trades. How do you trade with your brother if you have opposing views? I feel like it would fuck me up. No, it doesn't mess me up, I think, or any of us up, I guess. Because at the end of the day, I know what I'm looking for. And I got this kind of honestly, we got that idea from SMB, right? SMB Capital, which is they talk a lot about opposing ideas, about certain plays, about certain levels. And the whole time it's like for me at least, I know what I'm looking for and I know what I want to see from the market for me to take something, right? And if I'm looking for something and going back to the idea that 2, 3, 4, 10 brains are better than one, right? With the right knowledge, of course. So doing that, talking it over, we went on a walk, talk about certain ideas, maybe some long-term plays. And yeah, kind of trying to build that. We're testing it out, and if we both end up liking it, I think getting an office somewhere would be in the works, right? Literally getting an office where we both drive to. He's currently driving to my house right now, which is about a 10 or so minute drive for him. So yeah, literally just testing it out and seeing if we like it. But I can see why it would fuck you up, because I can see why it would fuck some people up. But I mean, it's more so of a collaborative work. So if we're both on the same page, Because at the end of the day, the market's right? It doesn't matter what you think, what I think, what he thinks. The market's going to be right. So more brains on the direction of price, or not the direction of price, because some days what could help is that single comment of like, I don't know, like we're around opening print, we haven't really moved anywhere for the last 30 minutes. Maybe it's not so good of a setup, right? That comment alone can save you from a potential tilt day, right? But that's kind of more of what I feel like the value is with group trading. But I feel like they have to be the right people. You can't just fuck around and, I don't know, talk about bullshit. Fuck yeah, that is facts, bro. Fuck yeah. You still looking for longs today after retracement deeper? Yes, I'm still looking for longs. I think that, I mean, chat, zoom out. Zoom out. Literally, zoom the fuck out. So yeah, if we invert this 5-minute gap, I'm trying to long stop at the lows, targeting that 1 hour gap fill. Uh, 15-minute has been gold for me the past 3 months or so. With higher time frame analysis, hardly ever look at the 5 anymore. Yeah, I think that for newer traders, I think that zooming out does wonders, right? Even if you take less trades, because you zoomed out and you miss, quote unquote, the early entry, I think over time the probability outweighs the risk to reward. After forming a change of state of delivery, we always need for FEG to form too, then waiting to get a pullback into that. Not always, but I do want. Well, I take that back. I want to see displacement. I want to see displacement, and I want to see bearish action get invalidated, right? So in this case, we traded up to this 5-minute bearish gap, and it's currently rejecting, indicating that price indeed does not want to go higher now, right? We traded back into that 5-minute order block. So let's see if that holds. If that holds and continues as higher, then that could be the start of a flip, right? The 15-minute here, we got to invert, right? We inverted this gap. Let me replay. Inverted that gap, which was the first indication. Okay, price could potentially flip, right? And then we left behind that VPR, which is a small little 5-minute gap. Traded down into it, kind of closed below it, I believe. But while we did so, I also got premium discount. Where did we come back to? The 0.62, 0.79. And we just keep playing, right? That's currently where we're hovering at right now. And so long we hold essentially that low, my bias remains to the upside. But with the idea that if we invert this bearish 5-minute gap with speed, we're following everything I want to see on not only the 15-minute time frame, the 4-hour time frame, the 5-minute time frame with getting that 5-minute invert, and the 1-minute time frame with speed, right? If we can break that with speed, that's an indication that price is eager to trade into the first objective, which is the 1-hour gap fill, right? And on the hourly, we did trade down to test the rejection block, right? So yeah, literally just waiting here and seeing if we get the displacement higher. So yeah, I guess to your question, it depends. It depends, but I would say that speed is by speed I mean fair value gaps, and what speed also refers to is invalidate. If we invalidate this with one 1 minute candle, that's always something I look for my entries, right? Whereas, and if it takes 5 1 minute candles to invert, that just tells me that price isn't really eager to break through that, and sellers are still in control, right? Because then what happens typically after that is that, right? I'm feeling shorts now. Yeah, I mean, they could happen, right? But I'm just trading what's in front of me. Yeah, I see what you mean. We did tap into this bearish 1 hour gap. Bearish order flow has been bearish, but again, we are in a higher time frame bullish EDA array, which is the 4 hour fair value gap, which is the first 4 hour gap that we traded into after that big displacement from yesterday, right? So do we respect that one, or do we want to trade lower to then trade back higher, or is this the top? Who knows? I'm just here to trade what's in front of me, right? And what's in front of me currently is yeah, this long. I give up, now we'll go up. I gave up, now we'll go long. Never goes up when I'm long. What's up, Bass Trades? Lunch is tough. Yeah, it's been pretty uneventful other than this move up after taking out the swing low. We're just consolidating and discount, right? So let's see if that holds. Ideally, if we just took out watch. Order block and discount of the range after taking out a swing low, right? So long this 1 minute order block holds, I think we see upside. Otherwise, if we give that up, I don't know. I think we just range for the entirety of the session. I think we do, chat. Yeah, ES has a little bit more relative strength relative to NQ here. So we did respect that order block. Let's see if we invert this with speed. I would look for a entry here. Yeah, we're currently still in the new day opening gap, which is kind of tough, right? This orange box here is the new day opening gap, which is the reason why I don't want to front any of this. Although this is the reason why it's interesting, chat, is that the 5 minute, we're at an area of interest. The 1 minute tested the 5 minute bearish gap, which we got a slight sharp move lower. We inverted this bearish gap now, and we're still in that range. Yeah, I think I'm gonna wait for that 5 minutes to go invert, even if the risk reward is lower. I want to wait for that. Yeah, we're currently in this copy ugly range. I don't want to be stuck in that if that's all price wants to do, right? Look, zoom out on the 5 minute. The last hour and a half almost has gone literally nowhere. How was your morning? It was good, brother. It was good. I took this stab long, ate a loss for -1R, and called it a session. But I did manage to bank. I banked, I don't even know the percentage, 500-600% on SPY calls, which I closed those positions on that I was literally talking on stream about time and time and time again. I probably mentioned that position 20 times. I'm not even joking. I talked about how, not obvious it was, but how highly convicted I was on that setup. If you go back to last week's streams and kind of skim through it, you'll see me talking about it time and time again. Which, I mean, like I mentioned, I texted my cousin about that play. I was like, hey, deposit 1,000 minimum and get into this. Shortly after, got in. $600 turned into 4,000 in, what's today, Tuesday or Wednesday? In technically like 3 days. So yeah, overall it was good. Good morning. Seems like yes, fooling around. Daily open, we've already formed 5-minute changes state. Yeah, I'm still, like I said, I'm still bullish, but for me to actually take something, I need to see displacement. Maybe for a big move in PM. I like longs on ES if we can get above 776 level. Yeah, I think once we break over that, we break over the new day opening gap and the hourly gap fill, and then from there on forward, the next level would be the 795. So I agree with you. And if that can happen, and NQ can give us an entry, I think we have room, right? I think if I can get an entry here and ES is already over that 776 level, that would be picture perfect scenario. Stop at the swing low here, and yeah, that would be picture perfect scenario. Print on these intraday scalps, and then hopefully continue trailing higher into end of day, and yeah, through Asia and London, we slowly trail higher and open up tomorrow and get rid of those QQQ calls, essentially. So yeah, that's the thought process here. So yeah, we continue holding that general area, which again is the area that I want to see us hold. How long we hold this, I'm still pretty bullish. How much was SPY calls? Each call I bought for $400. Wish I had a cousin like you. I literally texted him after. I was like, brother, all I'm asking for is fucking you got lunch over the weekend. This is what I told him. I was like, steak on you this weekend. Fuck, I don't think camera picks it up. Unless, oh, that's probably better. Shit. Let me make sure that wasn't, all right. Steak on you this weekend. A good scenario here would be NQ goes down and takes previous 4-hour low, and he has held. Yeah, that would be also very good as well. I think that I'm not too concerned over us slowly trailing lower, just given how the hourly, the 4-hour has been trading, right? For a move like this to happen, a pullback is needed. A pullback after a move like this is healthy to then see a turnaround and continuation higher, right? If trend wants to continue, we should find a bottom. And then once that bottom is found and external range gets taken, the TP gets taken, and perhaps even higher. And so yeah, we'll see what happens. But for now, I don't know. I don't know if I'm expecting much from price. Maybe today's just a pause type of day. But we really haven't done much. Through Asia and London. This is one thing I talked about on stream a couple of times, but this is a good example. When Asia opens up and we make a move, right, which are the two blue lines. Let me remove that so it's clear. And London stays within Asia session, right? Red lines. New York, typically, what New York will do is be a range type of session. We'll either break above it slightly in range, break below it range, or stay literally in the range, or take both extremes and literally just range. It's a good indicator of what price could do. Now, go back to yesterday, right? Yesterday's action. At the point of entry, or at the point of market open, Asia low, Asia high. London high, London low, London high. It's a good indication of what New York can do. If Asia and London were trending, New York could, I'm not saying should, but it could continue the trend, right? Compare that pre-market sessions after a trend day. This is why I kind of not regret taking this, but why I kind of consider this being lower probability is because of context. I came in understanding context, but I failed to kind of put that into play. I thought that I was highly convicted on that level, and I let that kind of not cloud my judgment, because I genuinely think it was a decent trade. It was I still have to review, but let's call it B setup for now, for example purposes. It wasn't A setup, but it was worthy of a shot. I think this would have been A setup had the low been taken prior. But it is what it is. It was a decent take, and I'm happy with it. I didn't go on tilt, and I walked away and didn't really care for it much. Forgot about it 5 minutes after, and I think those are the type of losses that I'm happy with taking time and time again, right? Yeah, cool little thing to look at. Different sessions, Asia, London, and which are the sessions leading up to New York, which is what most people trade. Sounds like longs. Anyone like? Yes, I like NQ longs. Literally waiting on NQ longs. Lomeli, ¿cómo estás? Estoy bien. How you doing, brother? Lomeli helped me get out of a rut just by asking me the question and making me think maybe it will help you, which was, let me see what was first off. Can you state your trading rules? Oh, okay, yeah, I remember that, Adam. Yeah, I think that a lot of people first off, thanks for actually listening and taking that to heart. And second of all, I think that most people would, whenever I talk to traders in which is very minimal, but in real life, I'm like, all right, you've been struggling. What are your trading rules? And for the most part, they have an idea, right? But they don't really understand that the complexity. I think trading, how do I word this? They should be simple, but they should be very rigid, meaning that they should be set in stone. You should have them memorized by heart. It shouldn't be something you kind of come up on the spot. Well, yeah, I take no more than 2 trades. It's like, okay, do you actually follow that every day? My cutoff time is 2 hours into market open. It's like, all right, cool. Do you actually follow that? Do you go into data and they're like, no. 90% of the time they stay past they take trades past 2 hours of market open, right? So it's I think that identifying what those rules are that are in place to kind of mitigate tilt, right? Identifying what those are is your foundation. That's your baseline as to, okay, worst comes to worst, I have that as guardrails to protect me from going below that, which below that would be tilt, fucking up, blowing accounts, and you guys know what the whole cycle is. But yeah, I think that, to Adam's point, I think that could benefit you if you have been struggling. It's literally sit down and piece of paper, what are my rules? And more importantly is identifying them, being aware of them, but also maybe reciting them every morning, right? Having them actually be part of your identity of who you are. You're a trader that follows your rules. Okay, what are your rules? Right? You can't just say follow my rules and then at the end of the session go on tell me, I didn't follow my rules. Like, what the fuck are your rules? Right? So yeah, that's all I'll say about that. But yeah, Adam, I agree, brother. Bro, this is looking like a fucking barbarian reaction. This is a 1 minute chart, chat. 1 minute chart for the last hour and a half, literally. This is action. Yeah, this is not high quality action in my opinion, but again, I would still be interested in taking longs if we displace past this high, past this 5 minute bearish gap with speed, right? If we get there slowly, I wouldn't be interested. I want one candle, break above it, and stop at the low, or even better, go lower, take out the low, trade higher, displace higher, and that could be the entry. So yeah, literally just waiting. Paint drying, literally, bro. Another setup, chat, on the higher time frames that I've been looking at are IBIT or Bitcoin shorts. No, you guys are probably like, what? Bitcoin shorts? What? You're shorting Bitcoin? What? It's a monthly fair value gap. We've been having clean displacive moves on the monthly chart on Bitcoin. And if we retrace back to this fair value gap on the monthly, we would be taking out a swing high here on the weekly fair value gap as well. Daily, we'll see what we get on the daily, but if the daily gets something like this, like that, I don't know, we close somewhere like that and we get a candle, the daily candle inverts that or something, and we start getting clues that price wants to indeed go lower, maybe an invert, that would be a short setup I'd be willing to take on Bitcoin ETF shares, or sorry, not shares, options. Yeah, Bitcoin's just been on a consistent downtrend, and on Bitcoin, I hate that it does this. Let me remove this. I've never traded those Bitcoin options, but we'll even see if they're liquid enough. But yeah, the 12 month, we are in a bullish gap. We have an order block down below us. The 6 month candle just closed. We have a gap, a fair value gap down below us. And 3 month, the 3 month candle, we have a swing low. So I'd be looking to target this swing low essentially, which is the around, let's call it 50,000. I think Bitcoin can get down to 50,000, and if we can get it at a form of a pullback with options, that would pay, right? So Looking at this, I have an alert set. But other than that, haven't really scanned much for other swings, which I'll probably do over the weekend. Yeah, we're not doing shit, chat. We're not doing shit. We've got everything I want to see thus far, but just no entry model. What the fuck is this? No entry model and no speed, right? So far, nada. You take a look at gold. Got you. I'll look at it literally right now. What steakhouse this weekend? Let's see, 5,000. What's Nah, I'm playing, bro. Nah, anything is fine. You talk a lot about Mastros, Alex. I've never been. You know what's funny, chat? The more expensive steakhouses I go to tend to be the fucking, at least maybe I have shitty luck, but they tend to be the shittiest quality. I don't know why. Or not the shittiest, but like the steak is just not good. Yeah, one thing I would say, Alex, is literally whenever the funds settle, just withdraw majority of it. Withdraw literally all profits. Withdraw that shit to the bank. Hey Lomeli, what's up, bro? Been a while since I joined your streams again, brother. My guy Felipe. Appreciate you for being in here, my guy. Yeah. Appreciate you. Gotta go to those School Mafia style dimmy lit spots for a great steak. Those are the ones I'm talking about, bro. You know, I had a, where did I go? I think it was Atlanta. Yeah, it was in Atlanta. I went to this steakhouse that kept getting hyped up by a couple of people I know. It was called, I think you guys will know. I don't think they have it here. At least I haven't been to it here. It's called Ruth's Chris, or Chris Ruth's. The fucking most disgusting steak I've ever had. It was fucking buttery as shit. Whenever I was chewing on the steak, it felt like I was chewing on a brick of butter. And it was, yeah, it was. Oh, it's a chain? Do they have it here? Let me see. I've never checked, or at least I've never seen it. Oh, you're talking about like, I see what you mean. Oh, I guess the closest one is Sacramento and Walnut Creek. Still driving distance. Yeah, I don't really go to Sacramento or that often. But yeah, there's the handful of steakhouses out here that are fucking amazing, that are fucking Texas Roadhouse, in my opinion, is fucking great. I love the steak there. Iran minister is on toilet tweeting. Yeah, NQ's giving us a little bit more relative weakness here against SPY. Got divergence at these lows. Let's see if they hold. Divergence here. See if they hold. We'll see if these get inverted. If so, I would potentially look for a long. But let's see. Let's see, chat. What's the best steakhouse you guys have been to as far as taste wise? What's been the best steak you guys have had? I'll be in Chicago literally in a little bit over a week. Maple and Ash Sophie steak. I'm actually gonna take a picture of that. Yeah, I'm excited to take my girlfriend to Luminati's. Fuck, best pizza I've ever had. More than likely, yes. I'll be staying downtown. Luminati's, bro, it's fucking amazing. Fucking amazing. Pizza's probably my favorite all-time I guess meal. I don't eat it as often because it's little to no nutritional value, but yeah, if I could eat pizza every day, I feel like I would. Mind you, when I was in Chicago on when was it? Back in August. So going into, or literally a year from today, or from this time, I was in Chicago. Literally, I stayed there for 3 full days. Had a whole pizza. I would have breakfast at the hotel, which was literally my eggs and a yogurt, or I forgot what bullshit I had, but I would have lunch, get a whole pizza, deep dish by myself. I'd have probably like 3 slices left over, eat that for for leftovers at home. It was so fucking good. I'm a huge sorry, looking at price here. I'm a huge pizza fanatic, although I don't eat it as often, again, because of literally just fucking cheese and bread. But so fucking good. Yeah, I really like that spot. If there's ever a meetup in Chicago, I would love to I don't know, have us all go. I mean, maybe not all, but if it was an intimate group, all of us go to fucking Luminati's, and yeah, it's great. Is it wrong that I'd rather grill my own tomahawk at home than, bro? Yeah, no, I'm with you, Adam. For me, I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. I think partially because I'm literally by myself in front of a screen all day. I genuinely enjoy going out for dinner, just to get out the house, and it sounds boring or fucking crazy, but literally just to see people and like feel like I'm part of society. Otherwise, I'm fucking in my room, in my little in my home office, or that's part of the reason why I like going to coffee shops, is because I get myself out of literally being alone. I think being alone for too long isn't healthy. And I mean, my girlfriend's at home, like we live together, but she's doing her own thing, and for the most part, I'm literally locked in for majority of the day. So for me, I don't know, going out feels like I don't know, it feels kind of like rewarding at the end of the hard working day. Pizza and sushi are my favorite. Yeah. Sushi, I love it. Pizza, bro, same. I think for me, it's pizza, steak, sushi, and has to be Mexican food. Okay, that's why we train. Does your girl like Hello Kitty? There's a new Hello Kitty cafe in town. I don't think she does. At least she's never talked about it. You know, it's, yeah, actually I saw that at the Westfield Mall. They opened up a Hello Kitty coffee shop, I think, which is kind of interesting. Word, totally respect that, bro. I feel the same way. Need some human interaction after staring at my screens. Yeah, bro. I don't know if it comes out sounding kind of like, damn, bro doesn't talk to anyone all day. But I genuinely, most of my interactions are either online or and don't get me wrong, I make it a routine where daily I leave my house, because believe me, when I first got into trading, I went through this unhealthy phase where I wouldn't talk to anyone. I would literally be in my room all fucking day. No, like, looking back, I think that's it kind of, I guess, got me to where I am. But looking back, I think I would have done it differently, and I don't think it was healthy. I really don't. You know what? I take that shit back. I have a social life, all right? I have a social life, Elder. But what I'm getting at is keep in mind, I wake up California time, 5 a.m., right? I go on a walk by myself, right? Go on a walk by myself, trade by myself, eat by myself. I guess that's around the time my girlfriend wakes up, right? Talk to her for a bit. Come on stream, literally, I'm fucking in my room staring at a screen. No one's in front of me. Like, this isn't, like, I'm talking to a fucking screen. No one's in front of me, right? Like, this isn't human interaction whatsoever. I'll be done like around 12:30, take a little decompress for like 30 minutes, go to the gym, typically headphones in by myself, come back, shower by myself. You guys get the point, right? Review, 4 p.m., 5 p.m. Sometimes I'll visit. I'll make it try to do my best to visit my family as often as I can. But otherwise, if it's not that, that's typically what, and then, yeah, what a weekday for me looks like. But, yeah, I guess my I have a handful of friends, I guess, right, that are physical friends, not online. But whenever we do get together, we'll it's either dinner and my girlfriend's just laughing in the background. Oh shit, my girlfriend's like, are you trying to convince yourself that you got friends? Oh man. No, but in all seriousness, I have my life is pretty boring, but from the outside looking in, but I genuinely enjoy it, which is why I mentioned, like, I enjoy going out for dinners. I enjoy going to coffee shops. I enjoy that's what I enjoy. That's the thing. I enjoy my solo time. I enjoy my time alone. I enjoy working. I enjoy, which over the years I found a better balance of, okay, work, but also I almost have to go out of my way to hang out with friends, hang out with family, which is, I know it's completely wrong, but I have to force myself to do that, which is bad, right? Yeah, it's part of being human, I guess. She's like, has no friends. Oh shit, bro is unk. Go get drunk downtown. See, shit like this. Yeah. Fuck it, huh? At this point. You said we could tell, bro. Now go take a little piss. Oh shit. That's funny, man. That's hilarious. Oh shit, man. Oh man, that's funny. Yeah, no, it was, for me, it was worse back in the day. Now I, like around 4 or 5 p.m., I have to leave my house, right? I have to leave my house, whether it's at least take a drive, visit my parents, or like I said, go get dinner, go visit my girlfriend's parents maybe. Whatever that is, I just have to leave my house, right? Go get a coffee with a friend, whatever that is, right? Just have to leave my house. I think from a very primal perspective, right? We're human, we're social creatures, right? We thrive under, we're meant to be in tribes, we're meant to be with people, right? So it's part of I guess if you want to really get into the nitty-gritty, I think it's part of the longevity protocol, right? Like I think as humans, we should be around family, we should be around friends, we should be around just people that make us happy in general, right? And I think that in this go grind mode, I think we kind of forget that, and which is healthy, right? Which it goes into another thing, which I kind of was a huge I didn't really believe in balance, but now I feel like I'm more and more getting into what balance really is, right? Did you have any trauma as a child? Were you left alone? Oh shit, man, that's fucking funny, man. That's fucking hell. Yeah, it's funny because when I was my brother was here over and we were literally we were talking about books. One book specifically talked about trauma, and then we started talking about personality traits, and then we both did a personality test, right? It was I think a Ray Dalio personality test, and we were literally talking about trauma, which is fucking, it's funny. They think you're unhealthy, G? Sheesh. Yeah, it seems like the ES wants to continue pushing higher. ES again is holding relative to NQ. Man, the little bro, those casino runs, G. Casino runs, yeah, bro. Talk about going to the casino, losing. We have no business being in the high limit room. Walking out -3 grand at 4 a.m. on a Saturday morning just to get home at 6 a.m. Or no, stop at that Starbucks. Talking about this was one expensive Starbucks just to get home at fucking 4 or 5 a.m. Sun's coming up. Yeah, that shit is not for the weak. Nah, but yeah, it's that was one time, and I fucking regret it. That shit feels like, I feel like a whole degenerate doing that shit. Those are the best, yes, but they are you feel like a fucking degenerate afterwards. Yeah, I want to wait for more for price. Although on ES, we are looking pretty Yeah, I just want to see more from price. We're delivering bearish on the 5-minute, 15-minute. We just tapped a bearish order block here. I'd want to see price displace higher and then get some sort of pullback on NQ here. Damn, how is it an hour, almost an hour and a half into stream? That's crazy. I'm gonna stand up, chat. I've been sitting all day. Shit. Fucking shorts. All right, we're up. Casino runs will definitely get the best of you. Anything other than blackjack. Yeah, we always play blackjack. Literally, yeah. The thing with our casino runs is like we'll go fucking, like last time we were having a barbecue at my house. It was like midnight. Everyone's getting ready to go home, and I'm like, all right, about to go to bed, get a good night rest on a Friday night, and the idea comes up, huh? How far is the casino from here? Which is such a fucking degenerate thing to do at fucking midnight. But I still have videos when we recorded in the car on the way back, Alex. Fun times though. I wouldn't take them back for sure, even though we got rinsed. Right, Miller? Hey, Miller? You either get even or get even worse. Pretty much sideways action until end of day. Yeah, with how price has been trading, I wouldn't doubt it. Let's see. My phone's over there actually charging. Yeah, even now, I still think we can retest the low here on NQ, perhaps. How we've been trading. Still not even convicted though, given where we are. We're in the 4-hour gap. Yeah, the only way I'd be interested in here for longs would be if we displace higher, get a pullback to then trade higher, which I don't know if we'll get given today's price action. This has been the action since stream started. I'm gonna zoom out here. I'm gonna pop up the 15-minute here and let the 15-minute develop. Otherwise, honestly, it's looking like a potential cash session. Yesterday was up a little bit over 1R. Finally broke the streak. Today, let's see what we can get here for PM. Yeah, again, the only reason I'd be interested in this is again if we displace higher, which by the looks of things, let me set an alert just in case I miss it. Get even or get even worse? Ah, nice one. Yeah. ES inverted. Yeah, ES is looking good to the upside, but NQ is just it's not helping, right? ES is looking amazing. We inverted this bearish gap, came back, bullish BPR, divergence, 5-minute bearish invert. So if that swing gets held, I wouldn't doubt higher prices. But I personally don't like taking anything on ES. And given how NQ is looking, I'm not interested either. But if you guys can see kind of what I mean, right? The amount of price that it took for the amount of candles or time it took for ES to take out 8 points, right? In literally, let's say 2 minutes. Coming back up, we technically did invert these bearish gaps, but look at the speed in which it did so. From 33 up until, let's call it 50, just for example purposes. That's what, 17 minutes. 2 minutes, 17 minutes to quote unquote invert the gap, right? But you did it here. In my opinion, I don't think that is, there's no eagerness to go higher. We're just slowly trailing higher. Perhaps to continue back lower. We're in a range, so I'm not interested or too eager to put on risk, right? If anything, I think we trade lower in the short term. Chat, I do have a pinned message from when I started stream. Tradeify 40% off up to 5 users. Code RAKE gets you the best deal. And as of today, I think every single firm, it used to be on some firms it was RT, but on every single firm, code RAKE will get you the best deal. So if you enjoy the channel, if you enjoy watching me and the other hosts, that's literally how the show runs and stays alive, right? By you guys using code RAKE. So I just wanted to throw a quick reminder in there, as it's the nature of business, right? If you're already buying accounts, save yourself money, help the channel. Easy. Love Tradeify. They just activated an eval that I had forgot about and had gotten active. Fire, yeah. I just started using Tradeify last month. Haven't gotten a payout from them. I literally have only been using them for PM session, and as you guys know, PM session for me last month wasn't the greatest. So yeah, I'm excited to see what I can do with Tradeify, and go from there. But yeah, so far it's heard nothing but amazing things. Same thing goes with Lucid. Tradeify Lucid. Heard nothing but amazing things from them. Plus, I'm a big fan of Brett Simba from his trading days. He became a prop firm GOAT. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, I remember when I first got into trading, it was him, and then it was him and the Kevin guy, right? You guys remember Kevin? And then yeah, it was a way smaller community than it is now within the whole trading space. And you had Umar, Usman. Yeah, this is literally fucking seek and destroy action here. Continue getting divergence here. Hey, Captain, my guy, Cottomobile, what's up, brother? What's What's up? What's up? What's up? How you doing? You take anything this morning, Codmobile? Oh, so you were on gold chart. Someone did mention gold chart. Let's see. Sorry, I'm just getting to it. Sheesh, gold is pumping. What the fuck happened to gold today? Yeah, gold is trading how ES traded or NQ traded yesterday. We're in this monthly bearish gap. Yeah, but this displacement makes sense, being stuck in a very, very tight range for I don't know how long, since a whole month, for a whole month. Breaking out to the upside, so we'll see. I'd want to see more for me to try to look for longs in this on a higher time frame perspective. Yeah, if we invert this bearish monthly gap, we are looking very good for the upside. How's the 12-month on gold looking? 12 months, 6 months, 3 months. Yeah, we're in this weird range on the higher time frames. On the monthly, we are in a bullish gap and a bearish gap. We're at this potential higher low weekly. I wouldn't be surprised if we get something like this over the coming weeks and then continue the uptrend. But yeah, it's tough. I think trying to long at this in this area is kind of tricky. That obvious target level was which we got right off the open. Oh shit, yeah, so majority of the move came through Asia and London. Yeah, that's interesting. Let's clean up the charts here, chat. There you go, nice clean charts. Today I made $4,500 on that insane buy since morning. Fuck yeah. On gold? Gold fully bullish today. Yeah, fucking crazy, right? Yeah, gold was moving nice today. How many of you guys use indicators? If so, what indicators do you guys use? I'm actually curious. Anyone in here use indicators? Which I'm sure a handful of you guys probably would. Which, again, nothing against the indicators. Because again, someone like you got stock market wolf making M's in a day uses indicators, right? So there's literally no wrong in trading. 200 EMA on what time frame, Codmobile? 9 and 20 EMA and VWAP. That's like the standard, huh, Adam? 9, 20, the VWAP. Yeah, a lot of that's pretty. I was watching an SMB Capital video, and that's literally the time frames or the EMAs they use, the 9, 20, and VWAP, which is shit. If someone like them is using it, Keep using them. Yeah, I've tried to experiment with them, but it's always, not always, but it gets mentally conflicting. Yeah, same here, A Miller. 5 minute. 200 EMA on the 5 minute. 200 EMA on the 5 minute? Crazy. Let me see. Or you said EMA? Oh yeah, EMA, right? 200 EMA on the 5 minute? Let me see. Oh, okay. I don't know why I was thinking it was going to be more, or actually, yes, it is. Or I guess this is a bad example, right? On yesterday's action. Dave Official, I think he's logged into his broker, hasn't he? For my legit or not legit senses, I think he's legit. What do you think about trading Nano and Q? I think it's amazing, especially for smaller accounts. Like if you want to start a $500 account and really manage risk, only risk say 20 bucks per trade, like you can do that with. I think it's amazing. Pretty standard. The 9 often acts as a trend line and breakout happens, and the 20 often lines up with the higher time frame 9. So the conflicts is helping. Got you. Great for that. Actually, didn't really think about that either. For swinging personal accounts, that'd be amazing as well, right? That's actually a good point, Jake. Yeah. Swinging, yeah, that's actually a very good point. Let's catch a banger in long. For now, literally just waiting, man. I'm waiting for price to... I'm not liking this 5 minute. Since stream started, we've just kind of been in a range. Take out the low, come back up, take out the low, come back up into the range, right? So the range has been that blue line here that I just drew, right? The trading in this box. And personally, I'm not a fan of trading ranges on the smaller time frames, right? Give me a range on the 4 hour, 1 hour, easy. If the intraday time frame aligns with speed and it gives me better action, easy, right? But intraday range, I'm not a fan of. With today's gold profits, I'm sorted for my Bali trip now. Big cash out in the... Fuck yeah. Make sure you just withdraw. It's not yours till it's in the bank. Same thing with you, Alex, if you're still watching. Withdraw. My guy, Alex. Yeah, let's see if we get a spice and move here. There's 20 minutes left on stream. Let's see if we get some sort of move here to the upside. Let me see. Let me start a poll here real quick. Do we see higher prices towards end of week? Yes or no? Higher prices meaning over today's high. Do we see higher prices by Friday or no? Where are you from, Codmobile? Where do you live? Yeah, what I'm seeing is we'll also leave behind a huge daily fair value gap, which is essentially today's low of day, which we can come trade down through Asia. We'll see. India, New Delhi. Fire, fire. Have you been to the Taj Mahal? Reason I'm asking this because it's a wonder of the world, which I want to visit each of them. But fire, how's the experience? Was it cool or was it subpar? Was it underwhelming? Is there any earnings today, chat, or no? Boring place, buddy. You said boring place, buddy. Earning, earning whispers. We got, you said SNDK? After close, today's Wednesday. Oh yeah, no real big names. BYND. We got Airbnb tomorrow. DKNG, DraftKings. We got Shopify this morning. Man, I have a fucking horrible, I've talked about it before, horrible experience with Shopify. Wait, it's not this one. Why is it delayed, chat? Halal symbol? The fuck does that mean? The fuck you mean halal symbol? How's your Q? It's good, brother. I closed out on my SPY position today, for close to 600%. Each contract I bought for 400, sold at, I talked about it earlier on stream, sold each of them for 2,200. I don't know the math, honestly, but closed on those. And on QQQs, I'm still holding. The SPY contract expired on Friday, so I closed out of that. Fucking banger. I closed out early in the day. Closed out around here. And on my QQQ calls, I'm still in. Matter of fact, let's see how much I'm up, but I'm not up a lot on those QQQ calls. I'm up 60%, which at the peak of today, I was up damn near, I think, over 200%. So that should be interesting going into the later end of this week and then next week. But yeah, I closed on the SPY. Yeah, so realized profit was 535%. So overall, good on SPY. And again, QQQ, I'm still holding. If we break past this swing high, I do think that they have a lot of potential, especially given that QQQ would be, I have 730 calls, so QQQ would be in the money. Man, that blue line, chat, if you guys go back to my old videos, that blue line I've set in place, I think Friday or Thursday. I talked about that blue line being the target on QQQ, literally on Friday. Here. I talked about that blue line potentially getting to by the end of this week, right? Which we got there yesterday. Literally go back to the videos. And I think I probably talked about it too many times, honestly. I talked about it pretty often on stream. Whether it was while I was creating a game plan, somewhere in between. But I know for sure I talked about it Thursday or Friday of last week. Yeah, overall, not the worst. I closed out on a trade. I'm more than risk-free. I closed out on some profits, more than risk-free, and I'm still up on this position, which is nice, right? And I still see more upside. Higher time frame is still looking good. Overall draw hasn't yet been taken technically. So for me, I am still liking this. I have time, right? I have another week and a half-ish. So if we get a day or two of pullback, that should be okay still. So far, so good. It's crazy to think that Mitch called this potential chop for the rest of the day. Yeah, I mean, looking at simple price action, right? After a run like we had yesterday, we took out prior bars high, right? We retraced into an area of interest. We're not really going anywhere per se. I think a pause like this is needed after a day like yesterday. Simply looking at bars, right? Looking at bar by bar analysis, right? We failed to go higher past yesterday's high. Right away, you're one of two things should come to mind. One, we retrace lower and trend lower, or we just range, right? After hitting a higher time frame area of interest, we've kind of been stuck in that same spot. We haven't really gone anywhere, right? So it's the reactionary way of looking at price should tell you, okay, we're after a day like yesterday. Today is in fact healthy. It's in fact, I actually want to see that from today, right? I don't want to see straight up action because that's a little bit unhealthy. You want to see up pullbacks. In those pullbacks, you should get some sort of consolidation before higher, right? This is healthy. This action is healthy, right? For you to think, okay, we're going to do this and then boom, sharp again, boom, sharp again. No, right? It comes in waves, just like as pullbacks come, consolidating, find a base, and trade higher, so on and so forth. But yeah, understanding where we are in price is important, right? And just simply going back to price, right? We displaced higher, pulled back into discount of the range, and we just kind of been holding discount, looking at action. We've not displaced it. So in this case, if I wasn't on stream, literally set alerts, kind of how I did there, and walk away, go. Honestly, I'd be in the living room watching TV and seeing if there's anything that pops up after that level gets taken, right? After you get the prior data from price, which is we're in a barbed wire action. Yesterday was really, really bullish. We had got to a higher time frame area of interest. Price needs to develop in that range. And what that usually comes across as is chop, right? So all of this was for sure. I wouldn't say for sure because nothing's for sure, but it's not surprising. What do you think about tracking on K2 Mountain? I don't know what that is. What's the likely TP if it goes up? I think the same exact level that I was talking about last week. 30,000 95. That's the level for this week that I have in mind. Which if we break over and continue displacing, I think if we displace over that high, I think all-time high would be reached by next week. Right? Depends on how we act at that level, which is part of the reason why I'm still holding. But yeah, if we trade back into that fair value gap and displace past that high, I do think that all-time high would be reached, but this is the overall main level I was looking to target. Right? This whole down move, I was talking about that level. People were saying short, like why are you longing? Why are you getting it's fucking, yeah, sorry, it's just funny. But yeah, that same level was the targets. Lomeli going for 10K per con gang or con? I don't know, because each contract, so I'll put it this way. Let me see what each of them are trading at currently. The 730s at the peak today, we're trading at the 730 calls expiring on the 14th of August. We're trading at the peak today at 1080 at 6:45 a.m. Right now they're trading at 560, so they lost half their value. So if they were trading at $10 and we break past that swing high and we're opening up somewhere around the 3,300 tomorrow, which by all means, I'm well aware we can pull back more, but let's just say for example purposes, we open up around 3,300 tomorrow. Each call should be around 15, 16 bucks. And my average entry is $3.60. So not quite, but yeah. And then the SPY calls I got in for 400 bucks. Sold them at let me see, 400 bucks. Let me see if the screenshot Alex or my Alex, are you still in here? If you are, send me your fills. Yeah, on the SPY ones, I got in at 409 on Friday at 12:50 p.m. my time, which is what, 3:50 Eastern, and sold them for each contract at $26 essentially at 6:36, so 6 minutes into market open. Yeah, for me, I would love to see this kind of slowly trail. And again, through Asia and London kind of have that similar bullish profile, which is Asia trails or trends. So does London. And through New York, we kind of displaced higher, and that's the move that we get. But if we leave behind this daily fair value gap, which is literally just at this low gets taken. That's a daily fair value gap. We trade down to it, displace higher. That'll also be a good scenario. So literally, I'm excited to see what the last 2 days bring. Genuinely am. And if we open up somewhere around this range any day, whether it's tomorrow or Thursday or Friday, shoot, today's what, Wednesday, right? Yeah, tomorrow or Friday, if we, for whatever reason, I'm still holding and we're above this range, I'm more inclined to keep holding, right? To keep holding that same position for a potential rally into all-time highs. And if that does happen on QQQ, those 730 calls are gonna fucking print, right? 750, and I still have time on them. Literally just one more bar like yesterday, which was, let's call it 18 points. One more bar like yesterday would put us damn near at all-time high. So I'm not saying that has to happen or that will happen, but I'm in a good position where I already locked some in. Target has yet to be reached on my NQ position, so there's still room. Right, at least for me, there's still room for me to see higher prices. Now, if we continue, I want to be a part of it. That's simply put, right? 12:26 chat. Yeah, it's looking like a cash session for me, which is to be expected, right? 10. I would say if you took anything in this range, it wasn't the highest quality trade. That's all I would say. All we had are yeah. We literally went nowhere. Literally went nowhere. Unless you're micro scalping the lows into the highs, the lows into the highs, the highs into the lows. If that's your way of trading, then yeah. Each their own, but that's not my way. Have you ever taken a big, yeah, fuck yeah. My biggest loss, funny enough, wasn't even a swing. It was an intraday intraday swing on options. Or sorry, intraday swing. Intraday trade on options. It was Shopify. Yeah, I kept buying the dip. Simply put, I kept buying the dip on Shopify, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it was after earnings. So I got hit with huge IV dump off the open and implied volatility. For those that don't know, after earnings, going into earnings, implied volatility spikes on whatever name, right? Because market makers are protecting their downside. But when market opens, the first 15 to 30 minutes, you'll see IV spike down, right? And if IV spikes down and you're in either calls or naked calls or puts, your overall premium price will deteriorate, even if the price is moving in your direction, right? So rookie me, understanding that made me go on tilt, and I kept averaging. And this was after a good run of about a month and a half. I had at the time I had a 3K account, options account on Thinkorswim, and I had turned that to at the peak it was hovering around 16,000, right, in about a month and a half. And it sounds crazy, but with options, it's really not crazy, right? One good play can set you up to then put on more risk on the next trade, and then next thing you know it, 10 trades after, you're at from 3 to 10K. Like it's not far-fetched. So yeah, that day, that morning, I just kept buying the dip. I was down a big chunk. I think at the time I was down, I think I think I used 7K in buying power, and I was down like 70%, like within an hour and a half. And as soon as I saw me being down a lot, it just put me in this position where I was like, fuck, right? I just went on tilt. This was like back in 2021 or 2022. But long story short, I back held that whole position. Coming into the following day, I added more. It was just the overall downward spiral that the next day I literally lost it all. I think I went in on Thursday and they expired on Friday. It was 1 DTE. And on Friday, I'm like, yeah, fuck this shit. I was already down, I don't even know how much I was down, like 11,000 in the morning, which in hindsight, right, like you should have just taken the loss and reset, refocus. But yeah, that was, for me personally, that was my worst experience in general trading, because at the time I was I couldn't afford to lose that, really. My savings account was non-existent. I had a checkings account, but it was nothing substantial. I had more in the options account than I had in my savings, my checkings. But that's been my biggest loss with options. I think, swing trading though. Swing trading goes, I guess, not much, a couple thousand, but never over. I don't think it's ever been over 5,000. Bro, literally, savings account was my options account. Yeah, at the time, like I mentally, here's the thing. Mentally, I was trying to make 100,000. So when that first, and I was just on a fucking heater. So when that first big loss came, it came bigger than I anticipated. And me kind of hesitating, freezing for like 10, 15 minutes, I was down a lot, right? And I was taking risks like I was comfortable. Like, sure, the account size was growing, but my overall confidence and skill level wasn't really matching that, right? I was still the same. Like prior to that, I was still revenge trading. I was still trading on tilt. It was just a little run I went on. And that literally put things into perspective. And since then, I think that moment, I remember stepping outside my house. I was living in Merced at the time. I just stepped out my house and I'm like, it was a dark, gloomy day. I was like, what am I doing, bro? What am I doing with my life? I was like, in my head, I'm like, I lost a fucking used Honda Civic, used Honda Accord. I kid you not, chat. I got in my car, started door dashing after that. You know how stupid I felt accepting a $7 order after losing 16,000? Fuck. Just thinking about it pisses me off. Thinking about me, it was fucking, literally worked for like 2 hours to say make 55 bucks, 60 bucks. And in the back of my, it was just honestly a very depressing time. But hindsight, I wish I could take it back, but I don't think I really learned anything from that other than like tilt could happen. But it's fucking real as shit. Bruh, it's that day is so vivid in my brain, like it's almost like it recorded it mentally. I remember looking at my phone and the little DoorDash notification where it goes ding 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 ding. I was so fucking pissed looking at that shit. Because in my head, I'm like, all right, I could have withdrawn these 16,000, taken the next 4 months off, and just focused on the actual skill set. That's literally why I was mad. instead I was just fucking being a whole degenerate. But yeah, that's it for me, chat. It's 12:35. We'll see what tomorrow brings. Tomorrow I think could be a continuation day after this pause. Otherwise, again, that's it for me. Code RAKE on Tradeify, Lucid, Take Profit Trader. And I know Jake has hinted at this, but something big is coming. You guys will hear from him, of course. And yeah, that's it for me. Again, if you are looking to purchase any prop firms, code RAKE will get you the best deal. And not only that, it'll support the channel. Yeah. So thank you guys for watching and sticking along. Cash day for me today. Let's see if we can hold that low. So long we hold that low, I do see us continuing higher and trailing higher into tomorrow. So yeah, that's it for me, chat. Deuces.